live. All right, we're going to talk about it. So I'm Junior from Here for You Life Coaching and Voicemaster Enterprises. Voicemaster Enterprises is our parent company. It's a family of service companies. We have several brands under one umbrella company, umbrella corporation. That's kind of hard to say, umbrella corporation. But yeah, so we have different companies under one company, and that's our parent company. Under that, we have several LLCs and DBAs. So, and also we like to mention that our first company was not Voicemaster Singing School, as a lot of people, people told me, they ran into me lately. People go, hey, you know what? The singing school is doing pretty good, Voicemaster, and I'm like, well, that's yeah. Voicemaster was actually my second company. The first one was Imua Productions. So what we did was just a little background on the company's thing, because there seems to be some confusion. Imua Productions was, we did voiceover. So I did radio for a long time, 40 years. And when I started in radio, I started doing jingles, voiceovers, that kind of thing. As soon as I was good enough to do voiceovers, I started doing them. So we started a production company in 1988 called Imua Productions. We did voiceovers. We did a on-hold phone service where we would, do the recordings for companies. When you call, press 1, press 2, that kind of thing. So that was that for the production company. And then we moved on, and the rest, as they say, is history. Good morning, you guys. Hey, Costas, good morning. Good morning to everybody in Greece. Costas, tell your neighbors I said hi. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Okay, everybody's here. So we're going to start this morning. Now, this morning we're going to be talking about your voice as far as, public speaking in that context. Okay, because a lot of people have been asking me, because they know I'm a voice teacher and a life coach. Okay, and actually I started as a teacher first. Okay, but what was really interesting was that we found this way of doing voice lessons. So I'm a spiritual voice teacher, okay? I'm not the kind of voice teacher you see on YouTube, okay? Although my background is in classical studies. I did that. I completed my classical studies. But my background and what I do are two separate things. I can teach people for classical music. I choose not to, because the majority of people don't want to sing opera. They want to sing pop songs. The kids want to sing Bruno Mars and stuff like that, right? They want to sing those songs. So, and classical music form is counterproductive. So I never really taught that. I studied it, learned it, whatever, never used it. So I started doing this thing, and I actually stumbled upon these things by accident because I put my own method together. And after putting my own method together, what I found was this way of bringing out confidence that is actually hormonal. It's very scientific. But I didn't realize it was scientific until after the fact. Like around 2007, I did my research. And then I go, oh, this is how that works. So, of course, we increased that. And now we get results out of our clients in one session. Like the very first session, they get physical results, okay? Stronger voice, all of that in the first session. And we found a way to do that. So anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about public speaking. All right. So if you use public speaking for your business, if you use public speaking in your job, okay, if you have to speak to people and you kind of feel uptight about it, okay, we're going to explain a little bit about that today and how to remedy that and how you can contact me and I can give you some free pointers and stuff if that's you, okay, if I'm speaking to the right person. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the subconscious and explain it more in detail, okay, because I'm getting questions about the subconscious, especially on Facebook. People are messaging me and they're asking me, they go, oh, Uncle, can you please explain the subconscious, because this is really important. I have these problems. I'm suffering from anxiety and, bad habits, whatever, and so here's my contention, okay, and this is not just my contention, but it's fact, and you can fact check me. It's just as easy, okay, to form good habits as bad habits, okay? Bad habits are like, and really, when you think about it, you have to put some work into a bad habit as well, okay? So the bad habit, okay, the easy bad habit that I always illustrate verbally is the cookie habit, okay? You go to a party, right? You try these cookies. Wow, these are good cookies. Can I have another one? Yeah, okay, you have another one. Now you're doing repetition, right? Okay? Keep in mind, that's how the subconscious learns, in repetition. So now you're doing it in repetition, and now you're like, okay, you're having another cookie. Pretty soon it's like, hey, where do you get these cookies? These are good cookies, right? And they go, oh, Costco. And then in a few days, you find yourself standing in the line in Costco buying cookies. Guess what? You have a cookie habit. Okay, it was that quick. It was that fast. Now, can you establish a good habit that quickly? Yeah, of course you can. All you need to do is repeat it. Okay, I don't care how hard it is. Okay, Mike Tyson said it another way. Mike Tyson said, discipline is doing something that you don't want to do, but you do it anyway, right? And you do it over and over again. It's subconscious. It's all subconscious. Okay, so anything that you repeat, your subconscious learns. Okay, now what does it do? Well, it works as a memory. It remembers what you do. Okay, so the subconscious. So here's some simple rules, if you will, of the subconscious. Repetition and consistency. You need to be consistent. You need to repeat it. Okay, so if it's good stuff, just repeat it. Okay, now the subconscious has no judgment. There's no judgment, and none of this is morals. Okay, so it applies whether you're doing good stuff or bad stuff. I'm not here to say good stuff, do good stuff. If you want to do bad stuff, do bad stuff. You're going to get bad results. Bad actions result in bad results. Okay, good actions result in good results. If you're getting bad results in your life, if you think you have bad luck in your life, if you think you're not blessed in your life, or you look at your neighbor and they got good luck and they have all kinds of good stuff happening to them, they're making good decisions. Okay, you need to look at your decisions. That's all. It's not a big deal. Okay, repetition and consistency is important. Why? Because that's how that's how you train your subconscious. Now, when your subconscious learns something, it will start to repeat for you. Okay, and this is why a lot of people are stuck in either outdated, and I want to say outdated. I want to stress this. Okay, outdated paradigms. Okay, outdated. Because the older you get, right, the more the world changes. If you're still using the same words out of habit, okay, because some words we can't even use anymore. Why? Because we get judged for that. We can't even use certain terms. Okay, I can't even tell you the terms we can't use. Okay, but we can't use it. Why? Because the world is changing. The world has evolved. Okay, so I always use the example of when I was a teenager, when I was 18. When I was 18, I was playing music in small clubs and stuff, little solo act. I was doing solos in little bars and stuff in Waikiki, in Hawaii. I'm in Hawaii, and so what I did was that, I used to go to the hotels and we used to get in the elevators. People used to smoke in elevators, not just one person, like 2 or 3 people, and they used to light up right in the elevator. Okay, now if somebody did that today, what would we think? Yeah, they're crazy, right? It's crazy. Nobody does that. Okay, nobody smokes in restaurants anymore, at least not here. Okay, we have laws. Okay, so this is proof that the world is getting better. It's not getting worse. Okay, now there's some things that we don't like, some things, okay, politically, yeah, okay, we're not here to discuss that. But I'm saying that overall, human beings have evolved. We are evolving. And as we evolve as human beings in society, we adjust things, we work things out, we negotiate things, okay, and pretty soon we have a better society, hopefully anyway, okay? Hopefully for the majority, not everybody agrees. All right, so, but this is something to acknowledge, okay, that there's some things that are outdated in your paradigm. Now, your paradigm, right? Let's take a look at the subconscious tree. Okay, so the subconscious are the roots of the tree. Okay, the roots of the tree. The body of the tree, the trunk of the tree is your paradigm. Your paradigm is your worldview, the way you see things, your attitude towards the world, your attitude towards everything. Okay, but it's based on what you believe. Now, your paradigm dictates your actions, the fruits of the tree. And those fruits, right, you will know them by their fruits, okay, by their actions, right? Because actions speak louder than words. Anybody can smile, anybody can tell you anything, right? But you see what they do, not what they say. Okay, we were talking about dating for a little while yesterday. We're talking about relationships. Okay, men, Pay attention to women. Okay, pay attention to what they do, not what they say. They're emotional beings. Okay, look at what they do. Okay, and this goes for anyone, but especially in dating. Okay, watch what they do, not what they say. Okay, so and I'm just saying that because they're emotional, right? Okay, so emotion and logic. Okay, men don't understand women. I'm just saying. So, uh, and that's a little side note over there. Okay, but you shall know them by their fruits, the way they act, what they do, their actions. Now, actions give birth to results. Okay, so if somebody's having a tough life, they've made a bunch of tough decisions that were wrong or not ideal or bad or undesirable, whatever. But that's what gets people into predicaments or into situations or into poverty. Ralph Waldo Emerson said poverty consists of feeling poor. Okay, and you're going to feel poor if you start making bad decisions and you end up, where either you owe a lot of money or you don't have any money or whatever the case may be. But it's a mindset. Just know it's a mindset. Okay, because there's a lack mindset and there's an abundance mindset. And you need to adopt an abundance mindset, which means you need to take away fear. Okay, doubt and fear. If you're afraid you're running out of money, if you're afraid there's not going to be any money, if you're afraid or you're worried, okay, worry is like praying for something bad to happen. If you're worried that there's not going to be enough money or there's not going to be enough food or there's not going to be enough clothes or there's not going to be enough whatever, now you have taken a mindset that could be this big and you're shrinking it way down here like this. Okay? Now you're operating from here. Okay? This is no fun. Okay? I was here in my 20s. I was here. Okay? Then slowly it went like this. Slowly it went like that. Between 35 and 40 it went like this real fast. Okay? But before that it was a slow process. It was a gradual process. Why? Because everything in life starts small and grows. Okay? When you plant a seed, you have to wait. You have to have patience. Depending on what you plant, right? Some plants grow fast. Some plants take time. Okay? It just depends what you're planting. Same thing with thoughts. Okay? What thoughts are you planting? Some of those thoughts will materialize slowly, and some of those thoughts will materialize quickly. It just depends, okay? All right, so repetition and consistency. Visualization is important, okay, for the subconscious. Now, two things, okay? And I'm trying to give you guys the information so you guys don't need to, you guys don't need to go read a ton of books, okay? This is so easy. Your visuals, your eyes, and your ears are the two things that will affect your subconscious the fastest. Okay, the fastest. So make yourselves a vision board. Okay, here's my vision board right now. This is the one I'm working on. Okay, this is for my new lease. I don't take anything for granted. Okay, people go, oh, well, don't you have money for a new lease? Yeah, okay. But sometimes when you do this, you get better prices. Sometimes you get a better selection. Sometimes you get a better, whatever, better deal, whatever, right? Okay. So anyway, so that's my vision board. Now, you can use your vision board for various things, okay? You can use it for things that you want like this, or, okay, let's say you get bad thoughts about something or fearful thoughts, okay? Lift up your phone, take a look at your vision board, okay? Because when you go like this, when you have a bad thought, you go like this, you go, oh, wow, yeah, nice car. Or if it's your baby, oh, that's my baby, whatever, okay? So it's very important to distract yourself off of negative thinking until you can, proceed with positive thinking the majority of the time, and you don't need a reminder like that. But that's a good way to distract yourself out of worry, out of negative thinking. All right, so visualization and vocalization are the two top for your subconscious. Okay, your eyes and your ears. Now, your eyes recognize you over everybody else. Okay? Talk to yourself in the mirror. I know, it's crazy, right? Like, what? That's crazy. No, it's not crazy. Okay, Have a conversation with yourself in the mirror, a positive conversation with uplifting words. Okay? Give yourself a pep talk. Okay? But it needs to come from love. Okay? It can't come from being strict and whatever like that. Although sometimes you can do that to remind yourself, to give yourself a little shock. You can do that, okay? But be nice to yourself, okay? You have to love this one, okay? Because if you don't love this one, nobody else is going to love this one, okay? Maybe just your mom, okay? So love this one. Okay? We can always count on our mothers, okay? Praise God for everybody who still has their mother, okay? I'm very lucky. I still have my mom around. Okay, so visualization, vocalization. Now, when you speak, your subconscious hears you. When you speak, your subconscious listens to everything you say. Right now, my subconscious does not know if I'm talking to you or if I'm talking to myself. So everything that I tell you works for me too. Okay? What do we call that? Karma. Okay? What goes around comes around, right? Through our subconscious. Did you think about that? Everything you say, you have a record of everything you say in here, in your subconscious. Okay? So when you speak, speak kindly. Speak nicely about people. Speak kindly about people. Okay, now, if you have a habit of gossiping or, that kind of thing, make sure that you say something good about the person at the very end. Because you can complain about somebody. You have the right to complain. You have the right to complain about people. I'm just saying, okay? And you can say, oh, Joe, yeah, he's a real jerk, but he's been my friend for 30 years and, I love him, but yeah, there you go. See how you turn that around? Okay? So when you catch yourself saying something negative about somebody or something bad about somebody, follow it up with the good part and make the good part last, because the last thing you say is the first thing your subconscious remembers. You know how they tell you, like, the last thing a person sees or hears from you is the first thing they remember about you? You remember hearing that? Okay, it's because of your subconscious. Okay, there you go. Emotionally charged experiences are another thing that really affect your subconscious. Okay, emotions. If you really want something to go into your subconscious as a memory, as a program, as something that is memorable, then you have to put it there with emotion. You have to be excited, you have to be happy, you have to be joyful, you have to have some sort of positive emotion, enthusiastic, any of those things. Okay? When you say, yeah, we're going to do this, okay, there you go. That's positive. Okay? Now, if you're angry, don't do that. If you're angry, you don't want to imprint your subconscious with anger. Okay? Now, what happens if you get mad? Everybody gets mad, right? Me, guilty. Okay? Everybody gets mad, right? Okay. What if you get mad? What if you yell at somebody? What if you swear at somebody? What if you just swear in general because something went wrong? Okay, you're not really doing it to somebody, you're just doing it, but your subconscious hears it. Your subconscious has no judgment, so your subconscious does not know if you're talking to yourself or somebody else. So what happens then? What do? You erase it. How do you erase it? I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. That's it. Done. Okay? Or just say you're sorry if you want to do that. Okay? You don't have to say it out loud. Say it in your head. When you make a mistake, okay? For you religious people, when you sin, okay? We all commit sins. Everybody. Okay? We're all sinners, religious or not. But when you do that, say you're sorry. Say, oh, I'm sorry. I was talking to Jay, I think it was this morning, I said something about somebody and said, oh, did I just say that? Oh, I'm sorry. Done. Okay? But get in the habit of doing that. Why? Because then you'll clear the dry erase board. Or for those of you who are old enough, chalkboards. I don't know if they still have chalkboards. I don't think they do. But anyway, okay? Or maybe they do in college, right? I think they still do. But yeah, so you erase the chalkboard or erase the dry erase board. You clear everything. Now, it's called Hawaiian Ho'oponopono. If you want to look it up, Hooponopono. Okay, it's a Hawaiian word. Okay, And when you go through this process, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. When you go through the process, you clear. Okay? You ask for forgiveness. I'm sorry, please forgive me, right? Thank you. Express gratitude. I love you. Come from love. There you go. Okay? So now, what else? Environment, repetition of input for the subconscious. Okay, your environment is important and it's conducive to whatever it is your goals are. Okay? So if you're in a bad environment, you're not going to really produce good stuff if you don't change your environment. It's very difficult. It's like those salmon. You see the videos of the salmon swimming upstream and they keep going like that and they keep going in the waterfall, right? You seen those videos? Okay? So it's like that. Because as much as you want to get ahead, if you're in the wrong environment, the environment will push you back. The environment will hold you back. Okay? I had that one client, and I've told her story here before, the one that got a new van in 2 months by writing affirmations. Okay? I coached her on that, and she got a well, it wasn't a brand new van, it was like 10,000 miles on it, but she was ecstatic. She wasn't complaining. It was new for her. Okay? But it was that girl that was so smart, and I told her, I said, you're wasting your life in the environment you're in. You need to get out of your environment. And eventually, she had the opportunity. Eventually, why? Because she started thinking about it. I had to plant the seed, okay? But she started thinking about it. Then what happened? Then one day, she just leaves her grandmother's house, and her life takes off. Like that. Just started taking off. Because she was a smart girl. Okay, you can be the smartest person. If you're in the wrong place, you're going to have a tough time. Okay? So be mindful of your environment. So your environment and repetition of input. So your subconscious is influenced by what surrounds you. Because your subconscious is a culmination of all of your senses. It's not part of your brain. Okay? Technically, yeah, your brain has a lot to do with it, with the collection of data from all of your senses. But that's what your subconscious is. It's a state of awareness. Conscious, subconscious, superconscious, okay? It's a state of awareness. So if you believe you're successful, for example, okay? If you believe you're successful, but you're in a place that reminds you, that constantly reminds you, this isn't success, okay? Then it's very tough. Because eventually the environment wins. Because your brain is collecting data from the environment, right? You know, negative people, negative circumstances, negative appearance, negative whatever, negative. And you were trying to do something positive. Okay, so you got to change your environment however you can. Sometimes it's very tough. Sometimes you can't change your environment right away, okay? Sometimes maybe it's the work environment you need to change. Okay, whatever it is, but environment's important. Okay, so hypnosis or meditation, that's another one. Now, our method is affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. But these are other things that you can do. Okay, hypnosis, meditation, of course, we teach you that. But hypnosis is another thing. Now, there's a lot of hypnosis videos online. Okay, there's a lot of guided meditation / hypnosis videos online. Go look for them. Okay, they're there. Small aligned actions for your subconscious. Okay, you should do scary things. Any fear you have, you can conquer. That's true. You can conquer any fear. Who said that? Let me see. Let me go back. Temple of Blood and Honey. Okay. Whoa, what a name. Okay. Yeah, you can do scary. The things that scare you, you should work against by doing them. Yeah. Because you'll find that when you fear something, right? Sometimes it's imagined. Okay? So fear is false evidence appearing real. Okay? So a lot of the fear that we think we have about something, okay, we need to do that thing that we're afraid of, and then we go, oh, hey, that wasn't so bad. Why was I afraid of that? You see? Okay, very good suggestion. Is there anything else? Wait, let me give it. Okay. I could never play music with a pianist on stage again. I was brutally forced to do so in college. Ah, okay. Yeah, sometimes, Temple, sometimes when we're forced to do things, okay, it automatically puts us in the opposite direction and we rebel against it. It's a natural thing. It's a natural thing that happens. So you don't want to force your kids to do stuff, okay? Parents, you don't want to force your children to do things. I was very fortunate to have parents that left me alone. They allowed me to do whatever within reason. There were rules. I had to follow rules. Okay, but they weren't they weren't those kind of helicopter parents. Okay, they weren't helicopter parents. Helicopter parent is one that's hovering over you all the time, monitoring you all the time. Like policemen kind of thing. Like, don't police your kids. Give them rules, right? Give them guidelines, and allow them freedom. Okay, it's the best way to do it. Now, I'm not condoning the kind of freedom where they answer you back and they fight against you and that kind of thing. No, you need to discipline them in for those things. Okay, and if you can't reason with them, then yeah, you have to impose restrictions. Okay, so you have to impose restrictions. So yeah, thank you, Temple. That was really cool. Please feel free to comment on anything I'm saying. Okay, and that goes for everybody else. Juan, good morning, Juan. Lil Burnett, Mr. Anderson, good morning. Good morning, guys. So anyway, so let's continue with the subconscious. Okay, so those are things. So small aligned actions with the subconscious. What does that do? That's where you reinforce your subconscious. You reinforce the ideas. Okay, small aligned actions. So if your belief is I'm disciplined, then you want to perform small aligned actions with discipline. Okay, small little things that prove to your subconscious or condition your subconscious into discipline, self-discipline. Okay, so what does that mean? I don't like to use the term self-discipline because people get turned off by it a lot. Okay, because it implies, something harsh or whatever. It's not harsh. Discipline is not harsh. It's just doing something and making sure you do it. That's all. Okay, that's all discipline is. It's a word that we tend to make negative, but it's not really a negative word. Discipline just means that you do something whether you like it or not. Okay, discipline means that okay, I'm gonna create a routine and I'm gonna follow that routine 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, whether I like it or not. And some days you're not gonna feel like it. Okay, but you're going to repeat it anyway, and these are small aligned actions. Okay, that's what it is. So don't be afraid to do things even if if you're not feeling it. Okay, if you're not feeling it, but just do it anyway. It's good for you. Okay, especially if there's a goal in mind. Okay, because sometimes you need to do certain things to achieve certain things. Okay, you're not gonna achieve, let's say, a CEO position by doing nothing. Okay, so it's life is like that. You have to do some sort of action. Okay, now thought is action, but in the workplace, right, you have to do other things depending on what your job entails, where you work, what you do, that kind of thing. Okay, so remember that part. Okay, so anyway, those are some, the key takeaway would probably be your subconscious isn't logical. Okay, what's another takeaway? It responds in repetition. What's another takeaway? After it responds in repetition, it repeats the repetition. Okay? So do you have to keep reminding the subconscious? Kind of, sort of, yeah. Yeah, you do. You should. Okay? So I write affirmations to train my subconscious. Okay, so every once in a while, I have to go back to a previous affirmation and reaffirm that affirmation. Write it again. Reaffirm. Do it again. Okay? All right, so now let's, we were going to talk a little bit about public speaking. Okay? So you have to come from authority when you speak. Okay, what does that mean? Authority. Whoa, spooky. No, it's not spooky. You have to assert yourself. Okay, now we always talk, and the reason why I say I'm a spiritual voice coach and a spiritual life coach, okay, spiritual voice teacher. There's a difference between a coach and a teacher. I'm more of a teacher than a coach because I can explain the physiology to you. I can explain the hormonal triggers to you. I can explain the physiology to you. Okay, and those are things that a teacher can do. A coach doesn't really know those things. They don't study those things. Anybody can be a coach. Not everybody can be a teacher. Okay, and when I say that, I say I put emphasis on the word teacher. Okay, now my parents are teachers, so genetically, I kind of got everything down the gene pool as well, and I think that's what actually makes me a good teacher is the fact that my parents were teachers. So and I was taught by teachers like since I was born, right? And that's all they do. That's all teachers do is teach their kids, teach. So the kids learn, and as a result, it's easier for a child of a couple of teachers to teach. Okay, my mom once said that teaching is inbred. Okay, and I think everything becomes inbred in a family line depending on what your family does. So it's really interesting because when you study epigenetics, right, you have all these unexpressed genes. And when you begin to fire these neurons that form new neural pathways, okay, I know a lot of this is, it's like, what? Okay, but this is the beauty of the human being. Okay, sometimes you don't know what you have in your genetics. Sometimes you're unaware. Okay, and then something happens, and you start to activate these genes. Okay, and new brain patterns form is what it is. Okay, because you start doing new things. My mom started painting in her early 80s. Everybody was shocked because we never saw her paint anything. When I was a kid, I never even saw her sketch anything or like do anything like that. So for me, it was crazy. I was like, what? She's doing what? And when I saw the paintings, like they were really nice. Okay, and my mom said, no, I just went to class. I went to a class, I learned how, and I'm painting. Okay, so in epigenetics, what epigenetics tells us is that there are unexpressed genes. And when you do things like, say, take a class for something, right? All of a sudden, you start to form new neural pathways in the brain. Okay, because you're learning something new. Okay, so this is how the human being adapts to things. It's amazing. Okay, people that get their legs blown off in combat kind of thing, right? When they come back and they get the artificial legs, they have to train to use them. Okay, it's like learning to walk all over again, right? But the neural pathways form, and pretty soon they're running faster than when they had real legs. Okay, this is the beauty of the human being. So, if you ever feel sorry for yourself, or you ever feel down, or you feel like, I can't do this, or, I'm not equipped to do that, or I'm not smart enough to do that, don't fool yourself. Don't fool yourself. If you really want to see a miracle, go in the bathroom, turn on the light, and look in the mirror, and there's your miracle. This one is the miracle. Okay, because the kingdom is within. Jesus Christ, Krishna, Gautama Buddha, they all said the kingdom is within. Everything you need to succeed is already in here. Everything you need. Okay, but because you have eyes, you're looking over here, you're looking at everything. Okay, you need to look in here. Close your eyes. Close your distractors like this and go inside. Go within the kingdom. Everything you need is in here. You were given gifts. You have your own gifts. Okay? Don't look at your neighbor. They have their own. You appreciate my eloquent language. It makes my soul. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I like that name, Temple of Blood and Honey. One extreme and the other. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, appreciation goes both ways. Always. Always. So, And the reason I'm here donating my time every morning for an hour is to tell you the beauty of you. Is to tell, I'm not here to sell you stuff. I'm not here to, you're not going to get a sales pitch at the end of this video. You're just not. You're not going to get a pitch during this live. I'm not here to pitch you. I'm not here to sell you stuff. I'm here to give you stuff. I'm here to give you information. I'm here to give you hope. I'm here to give you understanding. I'm here to give you the information, to reiterate the words of people that were way, way, way above my pay grade. Okay? I'm talking about Krishna. I'm talking about Gautama Buddha. I'm talking about Jesus Christ. And these things have been said over and over and over throughout time. What I'm doing is I'm breaking them down so you can understand them easier. I'm breaking them down and putting them in a context that you can grasp. You know, because when I break things down and I explain out how it works, and then you go, oh, okay. Because sometimes teachers don't do that. When I was in high school, teachers didn't do that. They didn't break things down. They gave us generalizations and they let us figure it out for ourselves. And life was harder that way. Life was a struggle in my 20s because I didn't understand what I was taught in my teens. It's the way that you teach that makes a difference. It's the way that you communicate that makes the difference. It's the way that you come across to people. It's the way that you treat people, actually. Okay, people first. People over everything. And when you have people over everything, everything changes. Everything changes after that because you come from love, because you come from goodness, because you come from people. There's God-made and there's man-made. Okay, this is God-made right here. Okay, this is man-made. Okay, this is man-made. Okay, these are all man-made things. Okay, but God made this one underneath it all. The things that you look at out here in the world, the exterior, okay, those are all man-made things. Everything outside of us was man-made, is man-made except for nature. Okay, so the only thing out here is nature and other things from other people's in here. That's all that's out here. Can we erase all negative records from the subconscious? Can we be 100%? No. Sorry, Costas. Doesn't work that way. You cannot erase all negative records. But what you can do is be strong enough to not let it affect you. It's always going to be there. You're always going to remember because you're intelligent. Okay, so your intelligence will supersede everything. You'll be able to remember things without being affected by it. In other words, you'll remember the trauma that you've experienced. Everybody has, okay? We've all had trauma. But you'll be able to remember it without letting it affect you. Okay? Some people remember their trauma and then they go, oh man, yeah, and they start feeling it again, right? Because we have a memory. And when we start reliving the trauma, that's why I don't believe in certain types of therapy, because you have to go into therapy, you have to reiterate all this stuff, you have to talk about it. When you start talking about it, you bring it into today. Yes, you can rewire your mind by training. Yeah, of course. Mind training. Okay, I haven't heard of that book, but yeah, there's tons of books like that. Yep. Sure. Thank you for your point of view. Yeah, we appreciate that. So you can ask questions, you guys. Hey, Wolf to Wolf Dog. How's it going? Thank you for dropping by. All right. Yeah, you're very welcome, Costas. I try to look over here as much as possible. I have 3 cameras to pay attention to this morning and every morning. But I was saying the reason why I'm here, okay? The reason why I'm here is to give you value, okay? Because I have my clients, and if you want to be a client, okay, I'm not going to turn anybody down. But I'm just saying that I'm here to give. Anyway, so the public speaking thing, all right? I've trained tons of public speakers. That's what I do in my profession. It's part of what I do. And the vocal exercises that we do actually strengthens confidence. Confidence is at the core of everything. if you want to be a good public speaker, you have to develop confidence. So what we do is we develop confidence in people first. Okay. With public speaking, okay, here's a thought. Okay. When you go in front of people, what are you really afraid of? You're not afraid of talking, right? Because when you stand in front of, let's say, 300 people, okay? When you stand in front of 300 people, you have 300 pairs of eyes just looking at you like that, okay? What are you afraid of? You feel the energy, right? But what are you really afraid of? Are you afraid of talking in front of 300 people? No. You're afraid of judgment. You're thinking like, what are they thinking? Okay? And that's the thing. I'm very good. I'm very good. Thank you. Yeah, so you're really thinking like, what are they thinking? So you have to know something, right? The way you feel, okay, in here, the way you look at people is the same way that you're going to think people look at you. Okay? The more judgmental you are, the more you think others are judgmental. The less critical you are, the less critical you think others are. Okay? So again, we're talking about the universal law of correspondence. As within, so without. The way you are in here will be expressed out here. The way you feel in here, you will feel that about others. Okay? So it's important to minimize your judgment. It's important. I mean, we have opinions, right? We have opinions about everything. But being judgmental is a little bit overboard. Is it possible for a subconscious recording of strong emotion to not affect? Of course. Yeah, that's what I just said earlier. Yeah, of course. You have to diminish it. You have to diminish that strong emotion so it's not so strong as to affect you. Of course, very possible. I do it all the time. So, when you're standing in front of people, right? That's what you're afraid of. You're afraid of judgment. Okay, so what I do is I put my students through exercises that get them past it, that get them over it. Okay, and it's not throwing them in front of people. It's not. It's expressing tones through their voice. And when we do this, it starts to quiet the mind. And it does that because your neurotransmitters in your brain start firing these endorphins and these hormones, oxytocin and endorphins, and it starts to calm people. So we start from the inside out. We work from the inside out. It's all frequency. Music can have good vibrations or bad ones. It's like your ears. So frequency is very powerful. You're welcome, Costas. Hey, Miss Lizzie, good morning. Frequency is very powerful. Frequency can heal. Your voice can heal you because you can produce frequency. So when you produce frequency at a high rate, let's say of strength, it triggers your oxytocin and endorphins, and it calms your brain. So it's not necessarily the good vibes. The good vibes can make you feel better, but in the process that we do, we have people express tones through their voice that actually calm them inside, and repetitive cycles of this turns into confidence. Basically, it clears anxiety, gets rid of anxiety, gets rid of overthinking, gets rid of all of that, and that's what we were discussing yesterday as well. So yeah, that's the good news. Your voice can heal you. Okay, now if you haven't heard of these things, do some research on solfeggio tones. Okay, go look that up. Okay, solfeggio tones are a real thing, and they appear in the music scale. A couple of them do, and the sacred tones. You can get apps for it. I have. I'll give you the name of some apps. So let's see. There's an app called Chakra Opening. I don't get anything from these guys or anything. I'm just gonna give you guys resources. So it's not like I get kickbacks for mentioning stuff. So I don't do that. So chakra opening, there's another app called Solfeggio. Okay, Solfeggio is spelled Solfeggio, Solfeggio. Okay, and these apps, there's also a 432 528 tuner for like an instrument. Okay, but these have tones. So like for example, they have binaural beats and they have tones and they have let's see. I can't find them right offhand, the straight tones, but yeah, they have tones on here. So in the spiritual community, this process is called toning. Okay, so check out those apps. It's called toning, and when you express tones with strength, they start firing your hormones, and your hormones start to calm you. Okay, so this is why when you sing, you feel good. Okay, like you sing a real powerful song, right? You start feeling good. You feel more relaxed. It's almost like a good workout. It's kind of like that. Okay, but this is different. You don't get the same hormones you do when you work out. Okay, because this is not like your limbs. This is your voice. This is you. So you're not your body. You're not your name. You're that energy that lives in here. Okay, and there's a separation between the body and the spirit. We always talk about that because I'm a spiritual voice coach and I'm a spiritual life coach. Okay, now I see a lot of other life coaches in the spiritual realm, and they do what they do, and I do what I do. So, but I haven't seen people address the separation like this. But you can feel the separation. Okay, and you can feel the separation of body and spirit when you exhale. When you do a tone and you're exhaling, right, as you're singing the tone, go all the way to the very very end, and you're gonna feel a little tug like this, a little tug like that. Okay, and that's when you feel the separation of the body and the spirit. That's how you know the two are separate. Okay, so let's see. Any other questions? Yeah, ask me anything, you guys. Go ahead. So, so in the separation of the body and the spirit has control over the body all the time. The spirit is the boss, put it that way, okay? Your spirit is the boss over your body, over your physical body. Your physical body is in the world. And this is why we say, okay, and Christians say this, that you can be in the world but not of the world. In religion, they talk about sin, right? Well, your spirit cannot sin. It's impossible. Your body can sin physically, okay? But not your spirit. It never touches the ground. Only your body touches the ground. But your spirit inhabits your body. I know. It's like if you haven't heard these things before, it's like what? But yeah. So I deal with the energy in here, but once you stimulate the energy in here, once you start working with that energy in here, people get very, very confident, like super confident and super relaxed. So relaxation is another term for confidence, because when you're fully relaxed, right, you start to be very clear. Clarity happens. When we sleep in deep sleep, is there also the separation of mind and body? Always. Yeah, always. Doesn't matter if you're sleeping or awake. So, yeah. So when you're sleeping, you're in delta. When you're awake, if you're, let's say you're calm, you're in theta state when you first wake up. And then when you're on your way to bed, when you're relaxed, you're in theta state again. Do you feel like you can feel your soul? Of course I can feel my soul. Yes, it makes perfect sense. Like the fluttering behind your eyes. Yeah, that too. And when you look up to your third eye, okay, close your eyes, look straight up, and you will feel the fluttering when you look at your third eye. No, you're not the only one. You're not the only one. Yeah. I feel you though. Yeah, it's true. So this comes from awareness. Okay, this comes from awareness, from being aware. Now, as I was saying yesterday, awareness looks like this. If you're under stress, you're under pressure. Okay, awareness looks like this. Awareness begins to expand once the stress is removed. So we remove people's stress through their voices, and then their awareness expands. And it's not always, when people wake up out of their deep sleep that they're in, out of the hypnosis. I call it societal hypnosis. Okay, because people are running around in hypnosis. They're hypnotized. You don't believe me? Okay, when you're in an intersection, take a look around. People are just like this, looking at the light like this. They're like robots. And then when the light's green, then they drive, then they go. What's more interesting is that their subconscious is driving the car. They're not even fully conscious, okay? Their subconscious is driving the car. No, you're not the only one. Yeah. Yeah, your third eye, your pineal gland, you're right, exactly. Yeah, you're exactly right. You're not the only one. You're not alone. But, and this is why I said, like, I like to explain this. And the reason why I like to discuss it and explain it and, bring it out into the open is because people won't tell you why. They make you think it's a mystery. And they think, they make you think like it's some kind of black magic or some kind of magic thing. It's not. It's your superconscious. All the magic you will ever need is in here. Okay? All the magic you will ever need is in here. Your conscious, subconscious, and superconscious states of awareness. There is no out there. Yeah, I like science and theory too. How to activate your third eye. Okay. Focus on it. You will activate it. Okay. There's also a breathing technique that will help. There's you can look it up, Costas. There's a breathing technique that will help with that. Okay. Don't use fluoride. That's another thing. Don't use fluoride. Stay away from fluoride. It calcifies your third eye, your pineal gland. Yep, you're welcome. And so anyway, we're discussing the subconscious, and we're discussing manifestation. And manifestation is, your subconscious. It's all subconscious. It's not magic. Don't be fooled. So, some people think, well, it's a psychic thing, manifestation. You learn how to do this thing, and I went to the psychic, and now I'm starting to manifest these things. It doesn't work because of the psychic. It works because of you. It works because of what you believe. Okay? If you believe that you're worth it, if you believe that you're smart, if you believe that you can figure stuff out, if you believe that when you take action, it will result in good things because the actions are good, then whatever you are focused on, whatever you believe, will begin to happen. It's in your subconscious. So it's nothing, it's nothing you have to believe in. Manifestation happens whether you believe it or not. It happens whether you want it to or not. Just look at your surroundings. Look at everything out here in your immediate surroundings. What does it look like? You can change anything. How is what legal? How to activate the third eye. How is that legal? The fluoride, yeah, I know, it's poison, right? Yeah, it's poison. Yeah, fluoride is poison. And that's why it says on the toothpaste tube to contact the Poison Control Center if you swallow any. Yeah, well, there's a lot of things that are legal that are poisonous that we shouldn't be in contact with. So, but that's just the way it is. But you see, we have information now, okay? You guys have these now, okay? You guys have these. No excuses now, okay? Go online and do your homework, do your research. You have these, okay? If you're watching me, you have one. Do your due diligence. There you go. Sometimes it's kind of hard for me to get going in the morning. But anyway, yeah. So, just know that what you put into your subconscious, you get out. What you put into your subconscious in repetition, it starts to repeat. It starts to repeat whatever you believe. That's why they say you don't manifest what you want, you manifest who you are. Because you are your beliefs. Whatever you believe is what you are. Okay? Whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, you're still a believer. Okay? So, is there any other? I wish you would say this was a joke. That's sad. No, it's not a joke. It is sad. Yeah. Hey, Cameron. Hey, Malik. Good morning. So, yeah. So the subconscious manifestation. That's basically how it works. If you guys have any questions, I'll take questions. Go ahead. I'll take questions over here. Our other platforms. We're on 7 platforms this morning. Only one of them, I take chats right there. The reason why I don't say is because the other platforms may restrict us if we're using other platforms' names while we're doing our live. Okay, but we're here every morning, 7 a.m. Hawaii time. Yes, your realities are defined by your beliefs. Absolutely. Yes. Whatever you believe dictates your reality. And everybody has a different reality. Everybody has a different perception, but we are all guided into generalities. Like we have a community, right? And there are certain laws and certain guidelines, and we have to abide by those. But then we see things within the community different. We see things within our life experience different. Your parents don't see things the way you do. Even your siblings, I mean, your best friends, whoever, your friend group, none of them see things exactly like you do. So, and this, there's 8 billion people there's 8 billion of us on the planet. No two are alike. No two are exactly the same. That in itself is a miracle. So, and that's why I say you are a miracle. Because you are no worse than anyone else. You're not below anyone. Everyone is equal. Microplastic is poison. Yeah, plastic is poison. Micro and macro. Micro is small, macro is huge. So yeah, it's all made from petroleum. How do we get our beliefs to drive our actions? They drive your actions whether you're aware of it or not. So if you want to adopt new beliefs, wolf to wolf dog, all you have to do is affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. So affirmation, right? You get your pen. I am so happy and grateful now that I am, in possession of $100 extra this month. Whatever you want. Or I am so happy and grateful now that I'm working at ABC company or XYZ company or whatever it is. So use that. I do it all the time. It looks like this. So these are the affirmations that I'm working on now. I haven't used that much of this one. And then this one is the old one. So these are affirmations. It's not journaling. Okay, these are affirmations. That's why they have the dates on the side. You can see the dates on the side and on the side here. So these are affirmations. And affirmations are just things that you affirm into your subconscious, and you're giving your subconscious direction. So you can live a directed life, you can live an intentional life, or you can live a random life where you just kind of react to everything that happens to you. When you do that, you're in victim mentality. All right, so it's 8 o'clock, and let's see. You have TP, take control from the subconscious mind. Yes, of course. Affirmations. Yep. Yeah, you can put them on sticky notes. Yep. Or you can just write them like I do and leave it at your bedside. Yes, you have to write things to commit to memory. You're absolutely right. Yep, you have to write it. You can't type it in your phone like this, okay? So don't do those things because it's not going to work. You have to write it out. Write it out, okay? Take the time. It only takes like what? Not even. Yeah, always correct your own thoughts. You're absolutely right. Yep, good, Temple. And you have to you have to take the time, okay? It only takes 15 minutes a day to change your life in 66 days. Okay, so remember your affirmations. That's why they say the pen is mightier than the sword. Okay, because the pen affects your mind, and you can write anything into your subconscious that you want. Okay, the subconscious learns in repetition, so you need to repeat it. You need to do it every day. In 66 days, you will feel completely brand new, and you will have a new set of instructions in your subconscious, new habits, new results, and hopefully a better life. Okay, so we will see you guys tomorrow at 7 a.m. in the morning. Thanks for joining us, you guys. We're on 7 networks every morning from 7 to 8. I went a little bit overtime, but yeah, this is the good news. The miracle is here. All you need to do is go look in the mirror. That's your miracle. Everything you need for every solution is in here. The kingdom is within. Jesus Christ told us that. So until tomorrow, God bless you guys. Take care, and we shall see you on all of our networks again. We're going to let go of our international feed.